Welcome to the Trinity MMO Show. Thank everyone for joining us for some good old MMO news each week at 6 p.m. Pacific time here on the Coffee and RPG Network. As always, we have Sir Jaziel in the house.
Hello.
And our resident YouTuber and owner of Coffee and RPGs, Solomon SK.
I don't want to talk about it.
and then there's Kenneth and me, okay? We aim each week to bring you some good old... We aim each week to bring some top picks and opinions on the world of MMOs since we are fans and players of them, okay? New World Beta. We've all been told was July. Well, today they announced, at least to the PC Gamer Show, July 23rd. It's a Thursday. So get your pencil out, your pen, put in your calendar, get ready for the beta. I don't remember if the beta, if you're in alpha, you get automatic beta. And at this point, it makes you wonder who doesn't have an alpha key, who doesn't want an alpha key. They pass them out like candy now. And so it's almost like if you don't got it, then you're not trying. And there are folks who actually have multiple keys. So it's like, oh, okay. I didn't mean to call. Anyway, so there should be a problem. And there also have been 2 new dev blogs that came out recently, one on crafting and one on player progression. For those of us who've done the alpha, they are pretty accurate descriptions. Okay, so that's why anything we talk about with regards to crafting and progression is not breaking the NDA because it's there, written in words. Okay, but yeah. So and go ahead and get ready for that. Still coming out in August, and we still plan on doing our August 25th relaunch show. The other thing of the quick notes was Destiny 2. Decided to Bungie lay out their roadmap, so to speak, and their next expansion, Beyond Light, comes out September 22nd. Wow, pretty good. And they've already announced their expansions for 2021, The Witch Queen, and 2022, Lightfall. So they're showing that, one, they're going to be longer term because original Destiny was like 3 years, 2014 and 2017. It's now been 3 years for Destiny 2. Okay, and they're going on forward. There's no Destiny 3 in the pipeline. So get ready, stay with this, go for it. Destiny 2 is an MMO RPG of sorts. Not quite, it's definitely it's got quests, it's got PvP, it's got the things you want from an MMO. I know myself personally, I started playing it again. It doesn't hurt the fact that my son-in-law now works for Bungie, so I want to toss him some money to keep people employed. And a public service announcement that's not a game, that's an MMORPG, but Troy, a Total War Saga, which is coming out next year apparently, okay, is on August 13th, write it down, August 13th, 24 hours only, on the Epic Game Store, will be free to claim. 24 hours, August 13th, 24 hours only. So if you like the Total War series, Troy is coming out, so do that. All right, so we don't have much news in MMOs. If you want to, you can go to the PC Gamer Show or the Future Game Show. A lot of information there, a lot of cool games. I'm gonna mention a little bit of now I think about it. I mentioned some of the games I mentioned. They aren't really MMOs, okay? I know Sean got Command and Conquer Remastered. They mentioned that, Now, I thought what was interesting was a game called Valheim. Did you see that one at all? Valheim, open world survival. Okay, you can build stuff. It's kind of like an RPG. It's got some boss mob fights, and you got a beta. It's a Viking Age type of game. I'm like, Valheim.
Oh.
So, have you talked about it before?
Yeah, it's a survival
okay.
MMO, right? Yeah, I've only touched about it briefly. I don't know too much about it, other than it's just a survival MMORPG or online RPG, whatever you want to call it.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, just some of the things I gathered was like I said, hey, has Solomon mentioned this? He goes, yeah, he has. If you're not watching his YouTube shows, so I've watched his YouTube shows. Apparently, I didn't deep dive. Another one was The Last Oasis.
Yep.
I like watching the gameplay and the whole thing about building your own airship. I'm like, this looks really cool. And I started thinking,
it's not an airship; it's a walker.
What? Wait, Walker?
Yeah, it's a ship.
Oh.
It looks like a ship, but it walks on like these legs, and they have like these giant sails that look like I mean, it's a walking fortress basically, and you use it to it's like your base of operations, or it can be, and you could use it to PvP as well. Has turrets and stuff like that too if you want to use them.
Okay, because I was looking at this and I thought it was a flaw because at first in the thing they were showing on the trailer, you were like flying, you were flying around or something, and all of a sudden you start flying onto this
Oh really?
airship. I assume.
Maybe they
What
added
does it look
flight.
like?
Maybe I don't know.
Well, I'm looking at the thing off now Steam right now. I'm showing it on the stream, and it's they're walkers.
Mm.
It was what I saw on the PC Gamer Show that kind of hit me. I'm like, well, that's kind of cool. Like you build your own ship, and you go around. So I don't know. Maybe they made some changes because this one here doesn't look like it's flying, but yet I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it goes. Okay, but yeah,
It's
so
doing pretty well. I mean, on Twitch, it still receives hundreds and views, and so
it's got early access. So if you want to play that game,
Sure.
give it a shot. I don't think Torchlight 3 is not an MMO. I don't know why it sounds like familiar to another game I heard about.
It has online components though. I think it plays very similar to like Diablo 3 as far as I can tell, or something like Path of Exile actually.
It's an ARPG.
Yeah, there you go. There's the term. Yeah, ARPG.
Yeah.
The other one I thought was interesting was it not an MMO again. It's more of like a Astroneer. It was called Icarus. From a company called Rocket Works. I says if they try to do, they want to capture your first hour when you play a survival game. It's like 20-minute as well as multi-day drop quests. If you die, not if you're on an auction, but if your timer runs out, you lose everything in that mission. You don't get to go back and claim it again. It's like wow, okay. Anyways. So there's a bunch of different games out there that are kind of cool. Everspace 2 is kind of an MMORPG. It's closed alpha coming up in June 15th. It's a space one where basically you're leveling up your ship.
I think that's gonna play a lot similar to like Destiny 2, actually, like a hub-based RPG. I mean, I know it's kind of weird using the term RPG for that game because you're flying around in a ship, not a person, but it definitely has RPG elements for sure.
That's true. That's why it sounds. That's why we talked about it before, but the blurring of the genre of what MMOs are, MMORPGs,
right.
MMORTSs, MMOFPSs. I mean, it's getting survival games. We talked about it before.
Right.
Survival games, RPG. Yes, they're MMOs, but they're not RPGs. And so when everyone says MMO, they're usually thinking MMORPG. It's a shortened version of it.
Right.
But nowadays, MMO tends to be more like the big, huge thing. Like, well, it's massive multiplayer online.
Right. That a lot of these Chinese and Korean companies slap on into their mobile games is not even massively. It's just like, come on. False advertisement.
And then you find out those aren't even real people that you're playing with.
Yeah. That's true.
I thought what was also interesting was they had the future game show. They mentioned about like the future. What asking some devs out there, what do you think the future is? Narrative is one of the things. Well, narrative's always been, I think, like graphics, obviously, audio, and he also mentioned about the way we play. VR, obviously, one cloud gaming, but cross-platform play. It wasn't a matter of fact that like they talked with the guys from High Res who do Paladins and other games. And they always go in with the idea of creating all their games to be cross-play. So always do it that way. But the biggest thing they said was, and similar to what the future is, cross-play, because that way then everyone can play together, regardless what platform you're on. And the biggest thing the high-res guy said was you have to convince the console companies that they won't lose for doing this. I mean, that's the whole point of exclusives. Like, oh, I got an exclusive. I got to buy a PS5. Oh, I got an exclusive. I got to buy an Xbox Series X. And now it's like, guess what? Xbox Series X is Windows. I think I already lost that regards, right? But guess what? The biggest thing I liked what someone said about consoles was that if you don't have the money to buy a PC, poof, here is a box you know will be guaranteed for the next 5+ years to play those games and all new games. It's there, and you'll keep upgrading it. Like I just upgraded my PC after 7 years, and it cost more money than buying a console. And you're like, so I don't know.
It's true.
All right, we will now get into this is more of a non news and more of opinion. Okay, so watching a bunch of these different games, these different reveals, there was a bunch of games who are the horror, the terror, not the suspense, right, but the horror, and wondering, like, for you guys, if you have, or would you play a horror MMO?
It's all you,
Now,
Sir Jaziel.
well, looking on the web, they mentioned number one, like this 2015 article that Secret Life was on Secret Life, no,
Secret World?
Secret World, sorry, was an MMO, a horror MMORPG, and so I'm like, I don't know. So I guess if Solomon doesn't have anything to say, so Jaziel, what do you got to say about a horror MMORPG?
I would love to see one that was done right. The thing is with those websites that you looked over, and then I went and looked at a couple, is they seem to think Secret World was really horror based, and I played it for 20 or 30 hours, and I mean I definitely enjoy HP Lovecraftian kind of stuff, but there wasn't anything really scary about that game to me. So, and I'm a horror and heavy metal fan. Everybody knows that at this point, I think. So I would just completely dig something that was really in that vein. We've had other gaming genres that have done real well in horror, and I would love to see an MMO kind of do that same thing. I don't know of any currently, unless it's got to be really underground. I don't know of any that. I would say Requiem and the Secret World were the only ones that really came close. Hello? Sorry, I'm being interrupted.
No problem.
Yes. Do I want some? I bought it for me. Okay, so oh well. Guess I'm sharing. Yeah, anyway, so I would really like to see, especially maybe something. I never understood why we didn't get something like Vampire the Masquerade MMO or something set in maybe that universe, or even like Doom in an MMO. I don't know. I'm just throwing some things out that just come off the top of my head. Or even taking Diablo into that direction, or actually that would probably work really well as an MMO. But
Well,
I don't know.
You mentioned that because I'm thinking, like, I understand the point about making Diablo or even Doom, but I'm thinking, but if you take those into an MMORPG, now you're just dealing with mobs that have those kind of. I don't know. I mean, to me, the idea of a horror MMO, especially the ones you see, or the terror or the whatever, are the ones that shock, the ones that, like, it's not the blood and gore. To me, I understand that part. It's more, to me, the horror is like the shock. It's like it's scaring you. It's giving you that fear factor. It's like you're making your adrenaline jump. That whole thing. Like, it, if you're gonna watch a slasher movie, all it is some guy slashing things up. How's it different than any other thing, right? To me, the true horror are the ones that make you jump, the ones that make you get scared and freak out.
Right.
Maybe I'm thinking wrongly about that.
No, it would have to be very story based and not a hack and slash kind of thing. Which you do get with the Diablo series. There is the hack and slash. Unfortunately, that's what it is. But there is a story there I don't remember any moment playing any of the 3 games where I was scared. But I think if maybe it was in a more not so much looking from the top down kind of gameplay where you were actually down in the battle, that would help. But I don't know. Like I said, I was just kind of throwing things out there. They may not hold any water, but
Wait, what
yeah,
was?
you
go
would
ahead.
have to have a real good story. Again, lots of lore and creativity. I mean, I think you could even maybe take the Aliens franchise or something, for instance, or Predator, or heck, why not put them both in the game? I don't know.
What was that Cyberpunk MMO that came out like in 2002 or 2003? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Anarchy Online.
No, it wasn't Anarchy. It had like I want to say it even had aliens in it. And we're talking about graphics that like, we're talking like Quake 1 or 2 graphics. And it's still up. I can't remember what it's called though, but it kind of had a horror vibe to it, but they call themselves a cyberpunk genre MMORPG.
For some reason, it's not coming to mind right now.
I'm on a site. I don't know if it's this game. It's called Cron, rather. Does that ring a bell? I don't know if this is the game I'm talking about, though.
That.
But yeah, it's again, I don't know if this is the game I'm talking about, but it's like the first thing that came up. But
well, talking Necronomicon, hey, why not do Evil Dead, the MMO? No.
okay.
Well, I mean, you could put humor and horror together. It works beautifully. Of course, there's gore in there as well.
Well, I was wondering why that may be the reason why you haven't seen a lot more, because people are okay with that being a story based, thing and jumping. But in other times when you play MMOs, you just want to create a character, jump in, and just kind of like have fun. You don't want to be shocked and awed, or you don't want to be shocked and horrored and dealing with those
I
kind
don't
of things.
know.
You just want to enjoy. I mean, you think about it, right? I was thinking about this question in all that I've seen from WoW. I mean, there are places where you're like, that's horrific, so to speak. I mean, I played some games, and all of a sudden, like I was playing Fallout 76, and all of a sudden I turned around, there was one of those the undead there, I forget what they called, right? Like it was like I was shocked. I was startled by it.
Feral
like
ghouls.
Yeah, feral ghouls. Thank you.
Yeah, the thing I don't know, because a lot of them YouTubers built their brand on they initially started out as screaming their bloody guts out on the stream while they're playing scary games. I mean, they started out playing Five Nights at Freddy's or
Yep.
what's that one where you're hiding from the grandma that's looks all scary. I can't remember what that mobile game was that everybody loved for a while.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just called Grandma. I can't remember.
Was that the same game where the Bible thump emoji comes from?
Ooh.
It's not that one, is it? Never mind. I'm talking about another game then. Never mind.
I don't think so.
So
No.
Vintage Gamer Chick said, Predator Hunting Ground. If anything, I think companies would only do them as Fortnite battlegrounds. Like Vampire Masquerade had a PvP MMO game. That's what worries me about them. Even making MMOs, they just want to make them PvP only, and I prefer PvE.
Or, things like Dead by Daylight and things like that,
right.
where it's just, that's where the horror seems to really thrive.
And Granny's the name of the game, according to Vintage Gamer Chick.
Granny. Okay. That sounds right. Yeah, but a lot of the, there is room for it.
Yeah.
And as we're talking here, we're figuring out that there really isn't anything out there. And I mean, if you're a real true horror fan, I mean, I'll call myself that. There really hasn't been anything MMO wise. Now, there's been other horror genre games that I've played, single player games, as well as those fight for your life and escape kind of games or whatever. Like I said, Dead by Daylight and games like that. But the thing is, there's so much material out there that would make just fantastic lore. And man, there's so many different franchises that I think they could really do something with, but I just don't. It's really risky, I think, at this point, and I don't think that a lot of people want to take that risk,
Right.
which
Yeah, there
is
was a
why. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. There was a game that I saw during this whole thing that I wrote down. I go horror. Now
Mhm.
it's like during the PC Gamer Show, and I'm like, trying to find where I wrote down the word horror. That's my problem. I can't remember what game it was, but that's what got me is like some of these are meant to be horror, terror type of games, and that's like they're meant to be
Mhm.
that way. And that's
Right.
why I'm thinking like for MMORPG, there hasn't seemed to be that kind of real set.
Mm-mm.
So vintage gamer chicks, I mean, they're great games, but I still prefer PvE aspect. Like take the older horror legends and make an awesome story-driven game. Love to see that.
Hmm.
That's what I'm wondering because I mean, all these horror games makes you think like, why hasn't someone done an actual horror MMORPG?
I mean, you could take the Van Helsing universe, uh, the Dark Universe stuff for DC. You could do, like I said, Aliens and Predator. You could put them together or keep them separate. Wouldn't really matter. You could do, like I said, I really think that Diablo would, with the creepy atmosphere and a little bit of, because there's so much lore already established in the game, and that gothic horror is just really interesting, and I could see them building a really fantastic RPG experience out of it. They've already got all the tools that they need. They just need to go in and create it. So do it,
Right.
Blizzard. What's wrong with you?
So I found the game talking about. I actually titled it Terror Suspense. It's called Remothered Broken Porcelain.
Oh yeah.
Wow,
I've
what a
heard that.
title.
Yeah.
Well, apparently it's not the first one. It's the second one. Okay, so
Yep.
I'm showing on my screen right now the Steam picture, right? But I was like, looking at this going, it's a terror. It's a terror. Oh, less horror, more terror.
Right.
Okay. And I'm like, that's the thing, right? Those kind of people want those. They want to be scared. They want to be on their edge of their seats. And that's why I keep thinking, like, yeah, people want to see that in RPG. But then I think, like, well, no, they're okay with that being a single player game because they much rather prefer living in a world of fantasy and not having to deal with horror and terror, every day you jump into your game. You want to run around Elder Scrolls and just see the beautiful landscape, hang out, not all of a sudden realize that all of a sudden there's this terror monster coming at you. Even though that
Oh, we
happens
do.
even I
I'm
know,
always.
that's the thing. Yeah.
I mean, we just
Squirrel
fought a
squats in the
vampire,
house.
so it's.
Uh-oh. Dadgum raccoons. Uh-oh. Sorry. Sound you know. I don't see any raccoons anywhere on the screen, okay?
Hmm.
See?
You know what though? I just think about, even tossing another Blizzard. I'm showing my colors here, I guess, but you think about like StarCraft being. I know it
I
doesn't
know.
instantly shout horror, but man, having those things zerg on you and needing like a 40-person party to do a raid through a battlefield of all these, man, that'd be crazy and scary
Yep.
and on the edge of your seat.
Oh
That'd be
yeah.
really fun.
Yep.
And again, so much lore, so already exists, and all of the player types already exist. I mean, you just need to put it together. But I doubt that they'll put another
I've
MMO out.
always wondered why they never did that. Uh-oh.
I did too.
Fire has nay raccoons. Nay raccoons. Nay raccoons. Okay.
What's
Yeah,
wrong,
so I
Rack?
mean, maybe I'm the audience that they're looking for, the ones that don't really want a terror horror game, and they know that. The thing is, there are people out there who like niche games. Today, there's so many opportunities. It makes you think that why not do that? Why not do a any horror? What's that one from? Not Dishonored. It was another one. It's like the same studios. Um, it was a
Oh,
horror, not Devil May Cry. No, not
wait, from the same
Anyway,
studios as Dishonored?
well, I remember seeing them at PAX. They think it's Bethesda, right? And they were showing, Fallout Shelter. They were doing Dishonored. They were showing. It was a horror game. Okay, I remember that. It was Seventies a guy. That is a great horror game. It's a horror game that they were announcing. They had it's like number two. Like there was like a second one. I forget. Anyway, so
Huh.
we know there's an audience for them, but apparently maybe the Venn circles don't overlap enough where MMORPGers and terror horror are in the same field.
Were
Seven
you
Days to
talking about
Die,
the Evil Within?
yeah, cute, Evil Within. That's
Oh
it.
yeah, those were good games.
Yeah, but they're horror
Yeah,
games too, and they're
yeah.
terror games. Super Mario is what you're looking for. I don't know.
Hey, those ghosts,
No,
man.
7 Days to Die is a survival game. I mean, how's that? I don't know. He says, Fires of
Seven
Podcast
Days
says
to Die?
it's a great
It,
horror game. And I'm like, I guess you could
it's
call that a
just Rust with
horror
zombies. I
game.
mean,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
it
To
looks
me,
cool,
you
but
place a zombie with a wolf and you got the same thing going on.
I mean, it does. It looks fun, but to me, it just looks like Rust with zombies. You know, and you can play Rust with zombies. You can, they've got mods for that, which that's what I'm doing, because again, horror movie fan. But
All right.
hmm,
All
yeah,
right.
but
So
I wouldn't work on
sorry.
a zombies thing because that's probably like I think people are getting at the end of
I
the
think
excitement for
I'd be
zombies.
on. I'd be on that for years now, but they keep coming with new zombie
Yeah.
games. Everyone seems to be okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm reading a book, World War Z. Really good book, by the way. If you've never read World War Z, the book, it's pretty good.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're done with that. That was our storyline quest, in regards to that. So now we're gonna do some escort quests. We'll lead you to safety, XP, and the adventure of a lifetime. So this is a question I have because some of us are doing the alpha for New World, and I love that book way better than the crap movie. I've heard that. So pre-alpha, alpha, pre-beta, which is obviously pre-beta is like alpha, beta, early access, etc., etc., etc. I was thinking of this, right? In the past, I'm going to ask you guys the question. I'll give you my opinion first. In the past, have always wanted to wait. I'll play the beta, open beta, not closed beta, open beta, to get a feel for the game that I have not purchased yet to find out whether I want to purchase the game. I've only used open beta to determine whether I buy a game. I'm not really a fan or been interested. I've been kickstartering a lot of games that I can jump into and start playing in and let them know my feelings. I don't care. Just give me the final product. So I want to throw out to you guys. Let Solomon go first. Where do you jump into it? Where do you want to jump into it? If you were given the opportunity to jump into the game any point in any time, and it was all free, okay, let's say that, without putting money into it, where would you jump into a game?
Only if they're MMOs, because again, in MMOs is like they have a problem, or I don't know if the word is problem, but I'll use it in this case. They have a problem of endgame. What do you call it?
Like SWOTOR, not getting ready for it. Not
Yeah.
enough depth into it. They put a lot of work in the beginning, but never at the end.
Well, I think MMOs have a distinct problem of people rushing towards endgame too fast. But I mean, again, I wouldn't really call that a problem because people should be able to play the way they want to. But with regards to the extent of how that affects the community, I don't know. But at the same time, it's like if you're gonna play an MMO, it is kind of important, because if you're able to get the best gear and gain the advantage and the know-how in order to be successful in endgame, like, what you don't know can't hurt you in games,
Right.
for sure. Especially particularly with MMOs, more so than any other genre, in my opinion. So yeah, early access, betas, alphas, whatever, I'll only do those for online games. Other games, like single player games like Fallout, whatever, not a big deal. I don't care, because you're not really in a rush you're not competing against other players. You're competing against the NPCs and the storyline, and just kind of, you could take your time and do whatever, unless, like, I don't know, you're running a video game channel where you have to, like, know what's up, wink wink. Anyways, yeah, but because you're not, because of that, like, because you're competing against other people and you want to get the upper hand, like, that would probably be the only types of games that I would do early access and stuff. Now, I don't know if that includes battle royale games per se. Maybe, I mean, I'm pretty sure it would, but I'm not a person that plays battle royale games. I'm not a person that plays multiplayer that much, like Call of Duty and stuff like that. But I could see how my argument or my opinion could definitely give you the upper hand or the advantage over other players who hasn't, gone through the motions and gone through, the gameplay and the mechanics and what you need to do to get to be the better player, for sure. So, yeah.
So your thoughts are that you will join it because you want to get a head start, so that when the game does get launched, you're not falling behind other people toward the end game.
Exactly.
You're not really, I mean, you're not like the person, I want to get involved with the devs and tell them which way to go with the game, or
Exactly. Yeah.
you're okay with, like, pointing out bugs, okay? But 'cause I mean, there are a lot of people out there in the community who love telling devs what they want to see in the game, and then devs want to listen to it, which is great,
Yep. That's spot on.
Gamer Chick, I mean, said, "Amen." I always felt rushed in MMOs because people are always like, "If you don't rush to end game, we can't play together. I'd like to play the way I want to." That's why a lot of me and my friends quit playing MMOs altogether. Yeah, the MMOs still are the way you want to play it. You don't have to. You don't have to rush to end game. You don't have to. But there is that feeling sometimes, especially it depends on who you're hanging out with. If you're hanging with your friends, they're good. I know I played Final Fantasy 14, and my biggest problem, well, besides the game itself, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't the big of my list. Is that my son and his friends, my other free company people, were always way ahead of me because of the fact that they had more time to play than I did, and I always felt behind. And I felt rushed. And I was like, I'm not gonna put money into this game if I have to go keep falling behind. But other times, other games are just playing with people, hanging out, not rushing them. Good, and no, not in-game Avengers. Right. So Jaziel, what are your thoughts? What do you jump into the whole, playing the MMO game? When do you want to jump in? And I don't know.
Normally, I like getting in somewhere in alpha. Um, the reason for that is when the devs are listening the most. They really have their ears to the ground, so to speak.
Right.
Excuse the old man expression there, but
People still use that.
that seems to be when they really are taking ideas from their audience. It seems a lot of the time, and this isn't for every company, it goes company by company, but after all that nice talk I did about Blizzard, I will say it seems like when I get in and during the alpha phases of their games, or well, especially World of Warcraft, that in alpha they're listening. They're really wanting your feedback, and they're wanting to know what bugs are there. They're wanting to know what ideas you have, maybe a different take on a quest that's in the game, or even things like oh gosh, I just went blank. Even things like how, like, way shrines in ESO, or like where you can port to the different locations and whatnot, like where those should be, and um, grouping of mobs, and just every little detail there, like listening, and you can tell that they're listening and they're responding back to you, and they're saying, yeah, we thought about that, and here's why we didn't do that. And I love that response just as much as I do that. Hey, yeah, I like that idea. I'm going to take that to my supervisor, because I feel like I'm an insider. Like I'm getting some information that the general audience isn't getting, and maybe the general audience doesn't want that information. That comes to mind as well. But
Some do, not everyone does.
yeah,
Okay.
I just I love when I know that I'm giving ideas and it's being listened to. And I feel like if the later that you get into the testing phase, the less likely it is. I think a lot of game studios tend to get into beta and they're just pretty much they're burned out. They've been working 6 days a week, 7 days a week, some of them, at 12 plus hours a day for the last 2, 3, 4 years. And they hit beta and they're like, I think the game's going to come out in a month or two. We can breathe now. And they kind of stop listening to you as much. And I feel, Blizzard, I'm
Well,
sorry, but this has happened the last 2 expansions. I have turned, especially this last expansion, I turned in literally a couple of hundred different bugs and things during the beta. And I know that the group, and everyone's going to cringe when I say this, but the Reddit group that I was part of that was deliberately looking for bugs and glitches and problems so that we could have the game have a nice solid release and not be buggy and not have issues. Uh, we were genuinely doing it not out of hate for the devs or the company or the game. We loved the game. We wanted it to have the best release possible. We wanted all these friends that were trying to come back to play, to have a reason to come back. Hey, dude, this was one of the best releases, and they fixed all the bugs and everything's ready to go on launch day. And I felt like we weren't being listened to at all. Whereas during I didn't get an alpha for BFA, but during Legion, I was in late alpha, and they absolutely were fixing things. That my group that again, I belong to a group that you know would help find the bugs and glitches and problems and like issues with lore. Even like, hey, that doesn't make any sense because this and this happened. And again, I don't know how many people in general are into that stuff, but it was neat. Like I said, being the earlier that you get in, it seems like the more they listen to you. So that's what I
well,
would.
and I can see that. Okay. And my
Yeah.
only thought process was not necessarily being on a dev team, but just knowing how projects work sometimes. I was thinking like the fact that once you get into the beta, now you're into it's time to release.
Mhm.
And back in the old days, that was definitely when you put it on disk. Okay. I think you're
Right.
beyond that. Nowadays you can do, you can get things unless something's really gonna break it. I'm thinking they're trying to make sure that the environment's gonna be stable, nothing's gonna crash it, everything's gonna be fine with it. I don't know if they have like a turn off a lock it down. Okay, it can't no more changes to the code because they don't
Mhm.
want to see anything messed up. Because if they fix your bug, they don't know what else it might cascade into another bug. And so
True.
they're like, and then I'm sure I'm guessing again, they are going through the list and what things are like not breakable. I mean, in other words, not critical to being where the game will suffer. It's more like, yes, next time, next time, next time, next time. Maybe even day one. You load it up and immediately there's a patch, okay? Because but
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that works anymore. I mean, it's a different age than it was 20 years ago when it was all you went to your local computer shop or gaming shop and bought a disc. Or well, normally for MMOs, it was 3, 4, or 5 discs that you
oh
had to
yeah,
install. Yeah, I
yep,
mean, I think
remember
World of Warcraft was 4 or
four,
5. Yeah, it was
four.
4. Okay. Yeah, I remember, and then I thought it was awesome when we got DVDs because you could either have the 4 discs or the 1 DVD.
No, I'm
And
talking
then
about four DVDs. Sorry,
was it
it
4
was
DVDs?
it was 4 CD discs. Okay, I remember I had.
Hold on, I'm looking for my
Yeah.
game.
I remember
Must have
seeing
put it back.
Well, I remember seeing it one time. I like, 1, 2, 3, 4 sleeves. Like, okay, there's 4 in this original game.
I'll grab it for a
Not
post.
so not the 3.5-inch diskettes. Okay, that'd be different.
Oh,
Those would
no,
just
no.
be
Oh,
the
that's man,
CDs.
you're going way back 3.5.
Well, but no. The first World of Warcraft was on the CD. Now, mind you, you're
It
right.
was on CDs, yeah.
If you were going from the original compact disc to more of the more hype, compressed type stuff, then that's different. But the
Right.
original was on four discs.
Yeah, I'll get it for a post show, but it's different now. And what I was getting at is we don't do that anymore. Now it's all digital.
Well, because they wait
Unless
till
you
day one. Now, I think they
So-
the thing is, I think they used to be more cognizant of that and making sure all the bugs were done before they actually printed it. Nowadays, they can
Right.
wait till day one. And they
right.
literally will release it, okay? Not the beta, but they release it right then. Now, the biggest thing is I don't think it's a question of them waiting the last minute. You're talking about also literally that you sent all this stuff and it was crickets on the other side. They didn't even say, thank you, we'll put this in on the day 1 patch, or thank you, this will be
Right.
on day 6 patch, right? It was just more like
Right.
total crickets. Like all of a sudden, yes, oh, thank you, love it, la 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 la.
Right.
Where'd they go? Did they get swallowed up by the ground or something? It was
That's
like,
what it felt like. Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah, that's
different.
it. What you said was exactly what and that's why when I get a beta invite at this point in 2020, I feel like I'm just getting what we're going to get on day 1. And so
Mm.
if the danger in that for me is I don't do pre-orders anymore. I've shared that with you too, and probably the people that are watching us as well before that. Um, I just don't do pre-orders anymore unless it's a very specific thing. I mean, I do have New World on pre-order. I don't have to pay for it till the game
Me too.
comes out.
Yeah.
But the danger and going into beta now is that's pretty much the game we're going to get. And if I don't like it, they're going to lose my money because I'm just going to, oh, well. But
Yeah.
again, there are those games that have, had a horrible launch and then came back and redeemed themselves. So that's not impossible.
Super rare though.
It is
Yeah.
rare.
I mean, New World, it's an open beta, July 23rd, for a game that's coming out August 25th. So
Right.
you've got to know that anything they're bug wise they're trying to fix this point are the big ones. They're the game
Right.
crashers. It's the ones that's going to cause them the issues the most. And this is also again opportunity for you to see a more polished game. Again, if you get open beta, right? If you're on the fence about whether you want to put money down for this gives you the opportunity to see it. And again, this is what I like. I like open betas where I can go in. If I haven't bought the game yet, I'm not sure about the game yet. I can play it. I mean, I played Destiny 1 on the Xbox, okay, in open beta. I didn't buy it because I was PC. I've open beta other games where it's like, yeah, and sometimes I bought it, sometimes I didn't because I want to check it out. What's it called? The Division that came out. Something Division.
The Division
Whatever
1
it's
and 2, you mean?
Or the latest one. It was in Washington D.C.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah. Okay.
I did that one. It was free to play as a beta, and so I checked it out. I started playing. I'm like, okay, fine. I can see how this would be a fun game, but not for me. I didn't buy it. I did some other
Yeah.
games like that too. So that's where I'm like seeing the fact that I saw, oh yeah, today, like, Icarus, you can sign up for open beta, or beta. All right, okay. I'm in the New World alpha. I wasn't planning on doing the alpha, but only because they gave me the code. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. All these PC gamer show and the future game show showed me, oh yeah, you can sign up for the alpha, or the beta. Check us out. I'm like, okay, I'll check it out. Or if you want, you can buy someone they built a rig for Troy Total War Saga. PC Gamer, if you want to sign up to win a especially tricked out PC in the Troy Total War Saga. So
I never win that stuff.
I know me either, but someone wins.
Yeah.
That's why I thought I'd ask the question. I knew that Sir Jazio did a bunch of alpha betas in the past. And I was just like toss it out. I was like, well, so exactly what is the preference for jumping into an MMORPG? And apparently, obviously, like I said, you said that, I want to help out with the devs and point out to them. I'm going to be an actual beta tester. I'm pointing them out bugs. I'm not, yes, if I can show them influence of my ideas I have, it's great, right? But more, I'm a bug person. While Solomon just wants to get ahead of the curve and beat us all to the end game and be ready for us,
Pretty much.
All right, that was our escort quest. I hope that everyone enjoyed the adventure of a lifetime. The class quest is kind of not quite a MMO thing, but it was a question that I thought I would toss out and just an idea, because Twitch recently did a lot more strikes, takedowns of the following DCMA. DCMA has been around for years, and Twitch has been doing a job of tuning out our VODs where there actually was copyrighted material. But more recently, Twitch wasn't, but the the music companies have gotten involved with some software companies that actually can go monitor all your clips. And they've been issuing takedowns to Twitch for these different people who've had clips, whether the clip was something you made or you wanted to made, or if somebody else happened to make it. I don't know, right? So, it's kind of weird. But anyway, so started doing the strikes. I went through all of my clips to make sure, because I do some dancing on stream or even doing some of the TikToks. But I was thinking about that Super Shadow on our show, Hear Me Out, we used to play the clips for these trailers for movies. And I said, hey, how come you're just now doing stills and no longer trailers? It's because when I posted to YouTube sends me a notice saying you better remove the trailer.
Really? Even trailers?
Show.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. And so I started to think of this, right? And I don't see there's anything out there, but I was like, all right, we who stream games, there is music in these games. It's copyrighted. The games themselves are copyrighted. The music is copyrighted. And you're sort of thinking like, no, they're not taking down not striking that. Game companies know better to do that than have us stop doing it, because that was for them is even more so than music companies, a great way to sell their product. But I'm just wondering, right? Do you think that the Twitch DCMA takedowns will affect streaming MMOs?
Solomon pitch in there.
I was gonna say that this, but wait, so you're framing the question only with regards to MMOs, though?
Yeah, because ours is MMO show. Okay, I mean, if you want to switch it out to all games, you're welcome to do that.
Well, have you guys heard of a channel, a YouTuber by the name of Upper Echelon Gamers?
Mm-hmm.
He actually saw this like about a year before. Like, he called this out.
Harris. Boy, same Harris Heller. That's why Harris has.
Oh, did he say that too? Yeah. And wow, that's weird. Even trailers, huh? Well, I kind of get that, because when I play trailers on my show, the only company that seems to do a claim is Japanese companies, especially Bandai Namco. I don't know why, with the exception of Blue Protocol for whatever reason. But yeah, that's why in my show, even with game trailers too, like just trailers in general, like I'm usually okay, except for Japanese companies for whatever reason, or maybe it's just Bandai Namco, I don't know. But that's why when I have the trailer playing on the upper left or left-hand corner, like, it's small enough I could get away with that. But the moment I go full screen, claim just right, not even playing the audio. Like, I don't even play the audio. But anyways, Oh man, this is just such a complicated question though, just because it's like, well, the music, like the game that came into my mind was Tony Pro Skater. They did a remake of it, but the game was known for its soundtrack of all the new metal bands, of all the emo bands, too. Just it was a late '90s, early 2000s thing to have really famous bands have music in that game. And so if you stream that game, does that mean your channel gets taken down? And again, if an MMO plays and the thing is like MMOs typically won't have that kind of problem because all the music will be made in-house. But that doesn't necessarily mean it won't be a copywritten music. So I don't know, I think you could kind of get away with MMOs just because it's like, unless you're streaming like even World of Warcraft, I think even Blizzard understands that this is a game that a lot of people stream, and I don't think they would actually go out to claim other streamers for playing a game that they created that with music that they have. So I think this is strictly just for just streamers just playing music in the background. I don't think this is necessarily a streaming game problem, but just a streaming problem with people who have background in the music, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's one thing about Twitch is a game channel. I mean, they started streaming games, and you got to know that for how long Twitch has been around now, that companies know about Twitch, and sure, if they had a problem with them streaming games, they would have taken them down. Or Twitch has an agreement with all the game companies. Now they're Amazon, so it's like, okay.
True.
And that's where I'm like, so that's why I think about the whole point of like some of these game companies, I literally went to a concert for Final Fantasy music because people love the music. Okay. There was even a concert at PAX last year for another game company. I'm trying to remember what the name of the company is, okay, which has really awesome music. Okay. It's known for its music. And you're thinking, okay, well, that's music. Okay. That's the whole DCMA thing. But they're not making, but the money isn't coming from the music. It's coming from the game. It's coming from the which is part of the game. And so that's why, yeah, Bastion. That's right. It's the company that makes Bastion.
One thing too, I think the whole DMCA takedown system, I think is in itself is a pretty crappy system. Because people could strike your channel even like not based upon like real claims, but because they don't like what you said. Like maybe you made a video about them that was critical of them. It's like, oh well, I don't like this video, so I'm gonna copy strike claim them and just completely abuse the system.
That's okay.
It happens. Like even Pokimane even did it. Like she was under scrutiny last year for doing that kind of S. And the person that most recently got flack for doing it was Suzy Liu. Because she was totally doing something she wasn't supposed to do, and so she would just mass copy rights claim people who made videos that were critical of her, and
right.
So, but I don't know if that necessarily pertains to Twitch. I know it's a problem on YouTube, but again, judging from what I'm seeing so far with what's going on Twitch right now, it wouldn't surprise me if they had similar crappy systems where people could totally take advantage of that.
It's going to go that way.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, that's I mean, that's the bigger culture is having this problem. The DCMA thing. I mean, someone made a comment. I saw someone Twitter was saying it's a 22-year-old law. So yeah, all right. So it doesn't stop you. I mean, yes, you need to talk to your congressman, your senators, and have them change the law because maybe it's too old. It's for a previous time. And you can argue that the music companies are taking a 22-year-old law and finding a way to strike it. And my argument was the fact that you're going to strike people for playing music who may not have ever heard it before. So it's good advertising for you, kind of like a radio channel, I guess, right? And you're going to strike them, and then now they're going to complain, and they're going to tell everybody how I got stuck because of this song, and people are going to say, well, that's a terrible company or terrible artist. I'm not going to play them anymore. And you lose money in the end because no one's ever doing it. Because now everyone's going to be going, hey, we're done with this. We're going to go give money to Harris Heller. You pop up his Spotify playlist and you start playing it. He gets pennies on every song you play. or others who now have this non-stuff. I mean, the guy that UK guy, Career Gaming, Gaming Careers, right? He had a thing with 6 different channel, not all free. You may pay $5 a month, but you get copyright free music. You can go to Google. YouTube has free non-copyright songs to use on your channel, and that's all great. So that means then all of us are going to stop listening to other stuff. It's like, well, yeah, but I pay Spotify, so I'm on my channel just listening to the music. Yes, you have a right to your personal listening to Spotify that you pay for. You are not allowed to let the whole world listen to the same thing, and so therefore they're not paying for it themselves.
Right.
And you start thinking, okay, do I stop streaming it then? Stop listening to it? Do I turn off Spotify? I mean, there's a backlash here that I think that could be coming that they're not careful about. Personally, my opinion, but I get the point. That's their money. It's their money. It's their trademark, their copyright. They should be able to protect it. So that's why I think about the games, because the games are not necessarily making money off the music, even though you can buy the albums. They're actually, they're a little bit different. And plus, I think because like Twitch might already have had agreements made with all these companies, anyways. Because that's the other thing you mentioned. Twitch could have easily gone to all the Warner Brothers and whoever else is making music and say, "Hey guys, is it okay if we let them play music on the channels?" I mean, Amazon could toss you some money.
You're being too rational, Dad.
I know.
I think if bringing up the game soundtracks, which are especially popular with MMOs, I've gone to concerts here in Los Angeles. I've gone to UCLA several times for gaming orchestra festivals during the weekend where they play songs from Final Fantasy XIV, Guild Wars 2, World of Warcraft, of course, Elder Scrolls Online, as well as other single-player games and whatnot, Fallout and all the big Doom and the popular ones. And I don't care if people think that's nerdy. I love it. I love orchestra, but
it's okay.
Such a nerd.
Yeah, I am. I also went to the live music thing that they had for the Star Wars movies, where they had the live orchestra playing the music.
Ooh, that would be cool.
And
Such a nerd.
that was one of the coolest weekends I ever had in my entire life.
Ditto.
Yeah. I also, everyone knows I do a podcast, and I co-own an online radio station,
Which is called the podcast is called what?
The
Masters Metal.
And thank you. And the radio station is Reanimated Radio. We do Christian metal. We pay a lot of money for the right to play that music. And it's a lot. It's about $550 a month.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah,
I hadn't thought about that.
And we are a very small station. We have a niche audience. For some reason, Brazilians and Germans love our radio station. The rest of the world is just kind of I don't.
Huh.
Germany and Brazil. Thank you guys. But it used to be way more affordable, and then Sound Exchange came in, and they decided that they just weren't getting enough money from indie stations. That they wanted to charge little independent radio stations and online radio stations, and even those tiny stations and just Podunk, Kansas, and little towns and whatnot. They wanted to charge them all the same. It didn't matter how many listeners that they had. It didn't matter how advertisement revenue didn't matter. It didn't matter. They wanted to charge everyone the same. So it didn't matter if you were a station that had 15 listeners or 1,500 listeners. They were going to charge you the same amount, which was completely unfair, because it used to be aggregated hours and how many listeners that you had. and they would take those numbers and crunch them into a more reasonable number, especially for us smaller people. And podcasters as well were covered for a lot more reasonable. Now I'm covered under the radio station, thank God. Otherwise, I'd be deleting a whole ton of stuff. Almost 300 episodes right now. My thought on it is, if even with the Tony Hawk games, which again I'm with Solomon, and I remember buying that was probably the first video game soundtracks that I bought separately from the game were for those first 2 Tony Hawk games. That I think if the music is on the game, it should be covered. Now, of course, that's going to be a real loophole, because you've got what's that? Grand Theft Auto has music that if you play on the radios, there's certain radio stations on there that you can play in your vehicles that warn you, if you're streaming, don't play this. I know even my City Skylines, there's a couple of channels on there, music channels on there, that say if you're streaming, don't play this channel.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't understand that. If it's part of the game, if it's on the game, it should be covered.
They pay for that single license for that single thing
for the game, but it is part of the game.
I know, but then they didn't. Yeah, it's a loophole.
The other thing is, hold on, my dog went down. Actually, I think she wants my popcorn, but she's not getting it. My thing is, why is there, with Amazon owning Twitch? Okay, Amazon has Amazon Music. I know not many people seem to use it over Spotify.
I do.
I use it as well.
It's cheaper.
It's cheaper, and it has just as much music on it. So
now it does. Didn't originally, but does now. Yeah.
Right. Why don't they offer us a something like Monster Cat, where you pay a subscription that pays your license fees, that allows you to play those songs on your stream through Amazon Music?
Yeah.
I mean, that to me sounds like a pretty good fix. Amazon gets their part, Twitch gets their part, and the musicians hopefully. I'm not going to go into the legal stuff of it. You guys would be pretty shocked how little that the band members end up with that. That the snowball does not get bigger down the hill.
I believe it.
It gets smaller as it gets down the hill.
Right.
And I can tell you stories of a couple of bands that I'm really good friends with, who you would think, with the 800,000 albums that they sold, that they are probably living pretty good, eating steak dinners with potatoes and everything and all the fixings. No, they're eating Taco Bell just like the rest of us in this room right now.
That's offensive to Taco Bell.
I mean,
I'm kidding.
They're cheap.
They're cheap. They advertise being cheaper. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. It's affordable, man. You can go in there with the $5 bill and almost get a meal. So, get diarrhea too, but that's good. Sorry, Taco Bell. I love you. You know I love you, Taco Bell. Those $5 chalupa boxes are the bomb. Or they're $5.50 now, I think. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know why, and maybe they will head that direction at some point to give us some kind of license. And then, they can even go as far as say, ask the labels, hey, who wants to be part of this? If you don't want your music played, then don't sign up. And they can make a list, a playlist, or several different playlists for us streamers that, we pay our $10 a month, $9.99 or $4.99, whatever deal they want to give us, where it covers that. And we're not going to get knocked by the DMCA. We'll still have, because a lot of people will say, well, okay, that, Monster Cat and all those other ones are cool, but I want some like rock bands, or I want some country music or whatever. It's, country music's not for me, but some streamers play it, and there really isn't any rock music or country music or jazz or whatever. But in this, if you went that route, you would be able to have a selection of of music to play that you'd be covered.
Yeah, that's the thing about the gaming careers guy. He mentioned the different channels that have non-copyrighted music. Some of them are you pay a monthly fee. Monster Cat's a good example. Some other
Yeah.
ones too, and you can use it. So you're paying to use it. So it's not quite
Right.
free. There are
Right.
others that literally like, here the channel, here's these free music. All we ask is that you make note of who the artist is. Okay,
Right.
just like it's advertising. It's a great way to say, if you're going to use it, just give us not accolades, recognition of where it's coming from. And
Well,
that's
that's
where I think
that
you're
little,
right about. Huh?
I was going to say that's that little ticker that I have
Yeah.
whenever I am playing music. I have a little ticker that goes across the bottom that shows you the artist and the name, and yeah.
That's good. That's why I think you're right. I mean, why doesn't Amazon owning Twitch and Amazon Music do the same thing? It'd be a great opportunity for them. I mean, it's like, I think a lot of us would just say, yeah, fine, it's already part of my Amazon Prime, Amazon Music. I'll pay extra $5 to have ability to do that. And of course,
I would absolutely.
yeah, because then when you're playing the Amazon Music, okay, it knows that you're playing it. Okay, you pay an extra $5 anyway, so hopefully that's been spread around to the studio. Because after all, if you pay $5 a month, let's say, to Amazon to pay all the artists, or not the artists, but all the labels who will then
Right.
pay the artists, or even if you're not an artist, wherever you have a DCMA, wherever you have the copyright on, you're getting paid for that use, and it's like everyone wins.
They all want their piece of the pie, and I've said it before, and I will continue to say it, that everyone that does any kind of creative work deserves to get paid.
Yes,
I don't believe that piracy is right, and not really sure that a streamer playing Metallica or Garth Brooks or
right.
whatever on their stream, I don't really think that's piracy.
I don't
It's
either.
not
Yeah, I
the same
agree.
thing, but
On the same thing.
I'm all for. I will totally pay. I already pay Spotify to be able to play their music on my phone, my PC, and in my car and stuff. And the artists get very, very little of that. Unfortunately, it really sucks. But I'm all for everyone getting their piece of the pie and being able to go actually buy a pie. You know what I mean? Yeah, they did the work. They're providing entertainment for us, and I would like to see them getting paid for it. That's fine. And what I would say is, Amazon, step up, man. You guys already have a music service. Just let us pay a license fee to be able to play it on our streams. You already have Twitch. You're the godheads of this planet right now on consumerism. So
It's true.
Absolutely, I agree. All right, we have completed our class quest. That was a good discussion. I hope that Amazon's listening as an idea, or Twitch, whoever wants to do it. But yeah,
Coming for us now.
we we
Bring
are
it,
2 months.
goddamn.
We are 2 months away. 1 month away from open beta for New World. 2 months away from the actual launch of New World, and so we are planning a pre-launch party on August 25th. Tentatively, right now, 9 p.m. Eastern time, 9 p.m. Pacific time. Sorry. Okay, for we think might be a midnight launch. Well, the actual time we'll find out more. So I hope it doesn't turn into like ESO, or ESO basically was like, yeah, we're doing it at 6 a.m. Like what?
Mm,
6 a.m.
I'm
Okay,
not starting
and
the game at 3. I'm just letting you guys know.
yeah, I'm just like, wow. It's like, whoa, okay, so yeah,
I
I
might.
much prefer what
I'm just going to bed at 3 a.m. Don't do that.
what WoW did. I thought was kind of cool was they actually had it at our time, because they're a West Coast team, and
Right.
Amazon Game Studios is a West Coast team. So hopefully, I know ESO was Cinemax. See, they're based in Texas, or they, I don't know, but
I thought it was Texas.
anyways, 2 months from now we'll be there. So join us for that.